We have recovered really well, both in Nifty as well as Bank Nifty. And at present, Bank Nifty really showing good signs of positivity. Small cap and mid cap, the broader markets are also supporting the markets. The PSU Bank, IT, FMCG do lend support. And on the flip side, the metals, pharma, financials are lagging behind in the trade. It's a good day. At least we see the Fear Index India, which is also cool off, and the indices are also performing really well. Good afternoon.
So good afternoon indeed, Mansi, because the recovery that we've seen on the market today looks interesting. It's not been all that much, but once again, we've edged towards the green and we're above the 25,200 mark for now. So at least that is looking good. Slightly off the day's highest point, but not much to worry about because we're still about 35 points in the green right now on the Nifty. Similar moves coming in on the Sensex. A good 140 point uptick is what we've seen. Nifty Bank to 170 points almost in the green, and 0.3% uptick coming in. And like we have been chatting with our technical experts and our fundamental experts, it has actually come true that it's Nifty Bank that's actually leading the charge from the front and outperforming the entire breadth of the market, because a 0.3% uptick is what we're seeing on Nifty Bank. The advanced tick time ratio still continues to be in the favor of the advances, like it was at market open today, and a 2% cut, a further cool off in India VIX is what we've seen, currently around that 11.2 mark. It's names like Wipro, M&M, Tech Mahindra, Nestle, SBI, Infosys and Adani Ports. All of these stocks trading anywhere between 1 and 2.5% from the Nifty 50 pack. Still, what continues to add some pressure to the Nifty is Shriram Finance bucking the overall market trend. A 2.5% cut coming in for Shriram Finance today is yet another day that Eternal is in the red, about 1.5% lower, joined there by Sun Pharma, Tata Steel, Cipla and Hindalco along with the Tata Motors. So that's what the breadth of the market is looking like right now. But from stock specific action, a good up move is what we're seeing on Shilpa Medicare after they've received the EIR for their Bengaluru facility from the US FDA. So that's looking good. You have SBI that's going to be in focus. They've already announced a 20,000 crore rupee fundraising via the Basel III bonds, and our sources also indicate that later this week, or in fact anytime this week, we could be seeing a 25,000 crore rupee worth QIP being launched by them as well. And here LIC is likely to anchor 7,000 crore rupees of this QIP. Other than that, too, some stocks are in focus in today's trading session. Let's talk about ICICI Prudential, because after the mixed set of numbers that the company gave, you have some moves coming in, or rather views coming in from brokerages, wherein downgrades have come from Investec and Elara. Investec has downgraded the stock to buy from hold, and Elara in fact to an accumulate from buy. So that is coming in from ICICI Prudential. So well, that's the take on some of the stocks that are buzzing in today's trade, Mansi.
Absolutely. So two downgrades coming in for ICICI Prudential, both Investec and Elara. And the downgrades and at the same time 2.5% to 3% downtrends, and a red pattern on ICICI Prudential at present. SBI, another stock which is helping the Bank Nifty actually, and also the home finance companies are also doing really well in the trades today. 2%, 831 level. We'll talk about this in greater detail while we talk with our fundamental as well as technical experts. And Shilpa Medicare, the EIR from US FDA is helping the stock move ahead in trade. But we have with us Sharan Lilane, independent SEBI research analyst in the studio at present, and we also have Deepan Mehta, Director Elixir Equities. Gentlemen, thank you so much for giving your time to ET Now. It's a pleasure talking to you both this afternoon. Sharan, we'll start with you. A smart recovery, and it seems as if all the stocks and the sectors are willing to participate in this recovery. How do you see the texture of the market at present?
So Mansi, a strong recovery led by the PSU banking index, especially SBI Bank. And I've been mentioning for the past 2, 3, 4 weeks, literally go long on SBI, do a buy on dips, you'll get good returns. Now the whole sector has actually given a breakout, and it's trading above its December 24 high. So very positive on the PSU bank index, and it's actually leading the Nifty as well as the Bank Nifty ahead. Even some auto sector stocks are doing good, M&M, TVS Motor, Eicher. So overall a good recovery. As mentioned yesterday also, 22,250 was a slight small resistance. Even the Nifty 20-day EMA is at that level. If we decisively close about 22,250, you can see a follow-up buying coming in, which can take Nifty to 25,400 odd levels.
Okay, so those are the levels that Sharan is spotting right now on the market. We also have Deepan Mehta who's joining us to give us a fundamental sense on where we're seeing the market. Deepan, hi, good afternoon, and thanks for joining us. We've seen a midday sort of recovery coming in for the market today because the first half of the trading session was rather lackluster. And yet again, that sector churn has come into play because today you have PSU banks that have taken the buck from autos yesterday and now emerged as the top sectoral gainer. What do you make of this sector churn? Because earlier we were seeing this on a slightly longer, a 3-4 session basis, a weekly basis, but now it's come to the point where we're seeing a new sector emerging as the top sectoral gainer every single day. What's your take on this sector churn, and where are you seeing value amid all this churning?
Yeah, good afternoon, and thank you for having me on your show. See, it's difficult to say why one sector will do well today and what will do well tomorrow. I think these things keep on happening. It's like predicting which stocks will do well. And when it comes to sector, if one or two stocks in the sector start to do better, then automatically traders get onto the bandwagon and they bid up the other shares also within the same sector. So if SBI starts to do well on a particular day, then tier two banks, Bank of Baroda, Bank of India, Canara Bank also start to rally because of trading interest. And then you have the feeling that the entire sector is doing well. But I think it's part and parcel of being in the market that some stocks, some sectors do well on one day and then be forgotten the next day, and some new stocks may emerge as well. And these rallies are difficult to predict whether they'll be for one day, 2, 3 days or so. So one can't really comment on this sector churn per se. As to your second question about where do I see value, I think it's getting very challenging to find good quality stocks at reasonable valuations. And I think the reason why the market is stuck on a sideways movement is because unless the corporate profits improve significantly from these levels, you can't justify higher prices because of the way the valuations are. And the liquidity remains so strong that at every correction there are buyers, but they're not chasing the stocks because end of the day, the professional fund managers, they are not just chasing the stocks higher and higher and expanding the P multiple. So unless we get support from earnings growth, I suspect the market may remain in this kind of a sideways zone for an extended period of time.
My point as well. There was a time when the sectors used to perform and then wait for some time at least, but now we see so much of sectoral turning on a regular basis. It's very difficult to actually pick and choose the one sector which will perform in trade. However, at present, if we look at the market texture sector wise, it's PSU Bank, IT, FMCG, auto, realty, energy, mid select in this order, the sectors which are performing, and the pharma and metals have taken a backseat. Sharan, talking about the housing finance companies, if you see, Bajaj Housing Finance is showing good signs of positivity, and LIC Housing Finance too trading at day high, around 3% up move at present, while 635 levels. And also SBI, if we have a look at that, the QIP news which has come in, and early this week the QIP might be announced. Now this is the news flow which is helping SBI, but at the same time both housing finance as well as SBI in particular are giving good boost up to the bank Nifty. What's your take on them?
So LIC Housing Finance is looking very good. It has given a decisive breakout on back of volumes. If you see the last 3 days volume, everyday volume has increased on the buying side. So again, a very strong breakout. And now the stock is at a resistance of 635 odd levels. I think if it moves above 640 levels on the back of strong volumes, you can actually see targets of 660 to 680. So the stock is overall good. Again, trading above all its moving average, one more positive. High volume on the buying side, again a big positive. So I see the trend continuing in LIC Housing Finance. And in terms of Bajaj Housing, again a very expensively priced stock, is more or less consolidating on the sideways. So I don't see a major kind of movement coming in Bajaj Housing as per se.
Okay, so that's the take on some of these housing finance stocks. But on that note, we'll slip into a very short break and keep the conversation going towards the last hour of trading session.